What is up, guys? My name is Mark Santamaria. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the RC vlog. I'm sitting in my kitchen watching these boys play Fortnite. Freaking kids these days are obsessed with Fortnite. But I have some good news and I have some somewhat depressing news. The good news is I chose the chassis I'm going to run in 2019. You guys don't know yet. I don't think anyone knows. Actually, a couple people know. My wife knows. And the cars were actually supposed to be here today, so this is the bad news. The cars were supposed to be here today, and they were delivered, and no one was here to sign for them. Usually RC packages you don't have to sign for, but this package is large. It's got a bunch of cars in it. It's very valuable, so I guess they required a signature. And out of all days they decide to deliver this package is the one day where there's not an adult in my house during the day. So usually my wife works from home. I also have a nanny, she's always here. But this time, I took today off. I took a half day today. I decided to go pick my boys up from school and run around town. So no need for the nanny, and my wife is actually out of town. And there was no one to sign for the package. So, it's coming. It's gonna be here, Monday. That's the other thing that sucks. Uh-oh. That's the other thing that sucks. Hey, let the dogs out. That's why they're barking, boys. Thank you. That's the other thing that sucks is, because today's Friday, and I didn't get it picked up today, or they didn't deliver it today, I get to wait 2 more days for my package to get here, and I just wanted to be here. The good thing is I have all of the week of Christmas off, so that should give me, if I don't take vacation, that should give me enough time to build my cars up so I can hit 2019 run. But that's not the purpose for today. Today, I'm going to talk about some other stuff. We're about to go in the garage. And we're going to talk about something that... Actually, I'll tell you more after I set you guys down. I got to set you guys down because I don't want to hold you guys the whole time, and I'll probably move a lot. So, let me put y'all down. Alright, so... let's talk about something that was asked on my last vlog. Thanks for watching my last vlogs, guys. The last 2 were obviously about me leaving Agama, about RC Pro sponsorships, and then just about the chassis. I gotta apologize on that chassis video. I knew I was forgetting chassis. I knew I was gonna get fact checked. So there's 2 things I need to correct because people are all butthurt about it. Hot Bodies does have an e-buggy. I've never seen it. And I don't care as much as they argue. It might have been out for a while, but I've never seen it. It hasn't been in my area. Whenever people used to run Hot Bodies, they were having to make their own Hot Bodies e-buggy kit. But they do have an e-buggy, so I apologize to all the Hot Bodies drivers out there. There is an e-buggy. And also, I left out a chassis that has a local driver that is completely killing it with it, is Serpent. I'm not going Serpent, so... needless to say, if I didn't bring it up in that video, I wasn't going Serpent. But Serpent is also a good car. Guy named Brandon Rose, he is just absolutely killing people out here with this Serpent. And I think they do have a 10 skill game also. So Serpent's a decent choice. They're just not as big in my area. Again, I'm looking for support, team, things like that. Love Brandon Rose, but the team's not big enough. And it's just the way the cookie crumbles. But before I go on and talk about the question that was asked, I got to give a big shout out to Lone Star RC Hobbies. They hooked me up with a shirt. Bill out of Lone Star, he was really nice. Whenever I came inside, he gave me a shirt, and I'm repping it now. It's a nice shirt. So shout out to those guys. Alright, so the question I got on the last podcast, which podcast come back soon, guys, but the question I got on the last vlog, someone said, I would really like to know how much the top level RC pros make. First off, you guys know I'm not a top level RC pro, so everything I'm going to tell you, I have a reason to believe, but unless you actually see the guys' paychecks, you're not actually going to know, and no one's going to do that. These are their livelihoods. But this is my thought. My opinion, what I understand about RC Pro drivers and how much they make. So first off, man, I have food on my face all the time. First off, let's talk about this. There's only about, I would say there's only about 5 Okay, I won't say 5 because I'm gonna get fact checked. This is a really bad video for me. People are gonna start dinging me really bad. But there's a handful of drivers that make enough money to make an actual living. When I say an actual living, I'm not talking about living with their mom and dad and hanging out. I'm talking about, and that's not the dog, people live with their mom and dad. If I was single, I would still live with my mom and dad. And a lot of RC drivers, pro RC drivers are young. I'm talking about people who actually, have a house, pay bills, do those things, a full-blown living like an adult. I would say there's only about, a handful. There's not very many at all. So this is my understanding on how much they make, and this is what I'm guessing. Again, we don't know for sure, and I don't think we'll ever know for sure unless someone is just going to open up their pay. But there's this myth, and maybe it's not a myth, that these high-level RC pro drivers make 6 figures. And when I say six figures, obviously that's over $100,000 a year. I don't think that's out of question, but I do think that not very many people do that. So the thing you got to understand is a lot of these big-time pro drivers, they're not just drivers, they're also like development engineers. So I can see a company paying a driver an X amount of money, like a salary, to be a development engineer, which makes sense because you need those guys. So if you take their development engineer salary, which again, I don't know these figures, but let's just say roughly 50 grand a year, and then you add what they call contingency money. So contingency money is when these big racers go to races, if they win or do well, I don't know what level, I don't know how well they have to do, but they get paid for how well they do at these races. It's almost like a bonus. And obviously these big time pro drivers, they don't just have one chassis sponsor. They have, not just one sponsor, they have several sponsors. So they might only get $1,000 if they win a race, but they might get $1,000 from all 18 sponsors, right? So that's about, obviously that's exaggerating, but that's $18,000 for a big race of contingency money. So if you take that, and there's not very many big contingency money races out there, but if you take that, then, round maybe $50,000 worth of contingency money, and then $50,000 worth of their salary to be a development engineer, I could see breaking 6 figures. But for the most part, and again, this is speculation, for the most part, most of them probably only get, if they're just drivers, they probably only get contingency money, which the reason why I think this is because I know a lot of fast drivers that just dominate out there that still have full-time jobs. I don't think they make the kind of money that, I don't think they make just buttloads of money where they can retire off of. So I hope I'm not pissing anyone off on that. But again, maybe a handful. I don't know what those guys in UK. I don't know what those guys in UK make, but I know in the States there's just a handful of drivers that I could say would make almost 6 figures. And I think 6 figures would probably be a good year for them. I could be completely off. But I can just tell you from a business standpoint, if I were a company owner, a chassis owner, I could justify paying a driver an X amount of, like a salary for a development engineer. I could justify that. And I could justify paying, contingency money because obviously we get a lot of exposure whenever they win. But I don't know if I could justify paying, a driver $250 grand a year just to drive. So that's my take. But one thing you got to take into consideration also is, let's say they do make 70 or 60, 70 grand a year, but they don't spend any money on travel. They don't spend any money on RC equipment. This is all they do. Imagine not spending any money on anything that you, like, what would you spend your money on? You don't spend your money on travel. You don't spend money on your hobby stuff. You strictly just be paying bills. You could really get away with, not so high income, annual income, and still live a really, really good life. So anyways, that's my take on what big time pro drivers make. So I do think they make six figures, but there's not very many of them. And I don't think it's easy. That would be a tough job. So hats off to those guys. Anyways, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell, and you guys will see me next time. Later, guys.